What disturbing mystery, crime, etc. that you have heard will haunt you forever? The murders done by Fred and Rosemary West, Ivan Milat, and the Backpacker murders. I'm Australian. Since he died, there's been fresh speculation and investigations that he was responsible for many more deaths way before the Backpacker murders. The Paul Bernardo Carla Homolka case. I was in a phase of reading true life crime books when I read a book about them. Something about it just chilled me and continues to haunt me to this day anytime I think about it, even though it's been many years since I read the book. It also caused me to stop reading true crime. It just made me not want to read about the horrible things people do to each other anymore. The murder of Dio Aking. Someone chopped her into over 2,000 pieces and left her in bags in various places around the city. Dupont de Ligonn's murder n.m. Wikipedia.org Wiki Dupont Ligon C3A8's murders and disappearance. A father murders his whole family and disappears without a trace. Creeps me out. Tori Stafford. Her kidnapping murder just breaks my heart. What those slimeballs did to her, they deserve to rot in hell. Junko Furutops n.m. Wikipedia.org Wiki Murder of Junko Furudut. The Toy Box murders. This couple would kidnap women and keep them as sex slaves and then kill them. When they first catch them, they make them watch a video about what is going to happen to them. I saw the transcript of one of those videos on here and it was super disturbing. Intercafic murders always gives me chills. Disappearance of Andrew Gostin n.m. Wikipedia.org Wiki Disappearance of Andrew Gostin. A few years ago, mother and daughter killed and performed a cesarean section to steal the woman's child, so that the mother, Clarissa Figueroa, could pass as her own and the woman's mutilate body dumped in their garbage can outside the house. Her name was Marlon Ochoa. Later, when they took the baby to be checked at the hospital a few hours later, the baby died. Marlon Ochoa's not only lost his wife but also his son. Clarissa only got a pleaded down 50 years in jail. Her daughter has pleaded to testify against her mom in exchange for 30 years. Both got off easy, to be honest. The crime was horrible, but the one thing that stuck more in my head was seeing their family looking the way they did in the interviews. That level of pain was incalculable. Here in Arizona there was a little girl and her daddy got high on crack on her birthday, dragged her out to the middle of the desert. He said in court that she hugged him and said, "I love you, daddy," and he threw her in a pit and burned her alive. Heard he later dug out his eyes in prison. Judy Smith n.m. Wikipedia.org Wiki Killing of Judy Smith. She went to Philly with her husband for a conference, though she traveled on a later flight because she left her ID at home. She disappeared and was later found dead on a hiking trail in North Carolina. I have no idea what happened. The abuse and murder of Sylvia Likens. https://simple.wikipedia.org Wiki Sylvia Likens. Won't name him BC, fuck him. But this guy kidnapped, sexually assaulting, and murdering around 100 women. He would play this audio tape for his victims, detailing in excruciating detail exactly what he was going to do to them, and that when he got bored, he'd kill them, and dump their body where nobody would ever find it. I imagine when being held captive, you're telling yourself that you're going to find a way to get out. You tell yourself that the pain will end someday and just push through it. You cling this belief that your life isn't going to end this way. But that one thing that they would have hoped he deliberately targeted and destroyed. It wasn't enough to physically control them. He wanted to mentally control them too. That's evil on a completely different scale. He died as prison and no bodies were ever found. Cindy James? Suicide or murder? I was listening to a podcast about this case on the plane and fell asleep. Woke up to the spooky voice message with 0 warning https. It's not even the most disturbing per se, but the death of Phoebe Hanschek has stuck with me since the day I heard it. It just absolutely baffles me. I have so many questions. I've heard from a forensics teacher once that during the Sarah Pallotta gold rush in the 80s, Par State, northern Brazil, there was a case of sexual cannibalism with one of the girls there. Disfigured body with human bite marks. No way I can confirm this, and probably there's no official documentation about it, as usually happens in lawless places. Heard a lot of weird stories and cases from this teacher, but this one really messed me up. Alberta Williams? Cosmo DiNardo and Sean Kratz. DiNardo murdered 4 young men with Kratz assistance. He lured them to a farm under the false pretense of selling them weed. Although his family was aware of his instability and mental illness, they still supplied him with automatic weapons and access to their extensive farmland. He is currently serving 4 life sentences. Saju chained woman incident U2.B8CDJMQ9GX MSI equals O at C9 ID VAX UVP Euro.